Welcome to Behavioral Codes: Why We Act the Way We Do by Mindful Literary, a transformative journey into the science behind human behavior. In this audiobook, we unravel the mysteries of why we think, feel, and act the way we do. Whether driven by emotions, shaped by our environment, or guided by deep rooted habits, human behavior is an intricate dance of instinct, culture, and decision making. We'll explore the influence of emotions on our daily choices, the powerful force of habit, and how cognitive biases shape our perceptions. You'll hear real life examples, personal stories, and practical insights to help you reflect on your own behavior and understand the codes that govern your actions. With a blend of psychology, personal reflection, and behavioral science, this audiobook is designed to guide you towards greater self awareness, offering strategies for change and personal growth. Prepare to dive deep into the patterns that define us and discover how small shifts in understanding can lead to profound behavioral transformation. Chapter 1: The Nature of Behavior. Understanding Instincts and Drives. We all share a common thread woven through the fabric of our existence, a set of innate drives that propel us forward in our lives. These instincts are not just fleeting urges, but foundational elements that shape our actions and choices. As I navigate my own path, I often find myself reflecting on the core drives that influence my decisions, whether it's the drive for safety when I hesitate before crossing the street, or the longing for connection that draws me to engage with others. This basic human wiring, an intricate dance between survival instincts and social needs, fuels everything from the most mundane tasks to pivotal life choices. Recognizing these drives within myself has illuminated why I sometimes choose the familiar over the unknown, seeking comfort in the routine rather than venturing into uncharted territory. Everyday decisions are a canvas where these instincts paint vivid strokes of influence. I notice it when I am faced with a choice, like whether to attend a social gathering or stay in. The instinct to belong often nudges me forward, encouraging me to connect with friends, yet there's also a pull towards solitude, an essential part of my self-care. These competing drives can create an internal dialogue, a negotiation between my desires for acceptance and my need for personal space. I find myself pondering how often we make choices instinctively, guided by deep-seated drives that we may not even articulate. The way I position myself in the world, choosing how to spend my time, whom to spend it with, and what goals to pursue, reflects the intricate interplay of these instincts at work. Understanding these elements within myself has granted me a deeper appreciation for the choices of others. It's fascinating to observe how diverse drives manifest uniquely in each person's life, shaping behaviors and reactions. For instance, I've seen how some individuals thrive on risk, their instinct driving them to seek adventure and novelty, while others find peace in steadiness and consistency. This awareness encourages us to be compassionate, fostering a sense of kinship as we acknowledge the instinctual forces that guide our lives. As I continue this journey of self-discovery, I am reminded of the importance of honoring these instincts and recognizing how they influence not just personal life decisions, but also our interactions and relationships. One practical way to harness this understanding is to pause and reflect before making significant decisions, asking ourselves which instincts are at play and how they align with our values. Embracing this insight can lead to more intentional choices, better relationships, and a deeper connection to ourselves and those around us. The role of environment in shaping actions. Our surroundings have an undeniable impact on our behavior, often guiding us in ways we may not even realize. The energy of a bustling street can ignite a sense of urgency, while a quiet forest may foster tranquility and reflection. Each cafe I enter has its own vibe, which influences my choice of whether to write fervently or sip my coffee in contemplative silence. I've learned that the hum of life around me can either spark creativity or calm my mind, depending on the atmosphere. Even the colors and layouts of spaces can trigger emotions or memories, shaping how I feel about engaging with the world in that moment. What we often perceive as simple background noise is actually a rich tapestry that nudges our actions, subtly guiding us to act in ways that align with the environment. This interplay between context and behavior fascinates me, and I often find myself reflecting on how a great sunset can inspire me to call a friend, whereas a rainy day might prompt me to retreat into solitude with a good book. Looking back on my life, there are specific places that stand out, illustrating the profound impact of personal environments on my actions. My childhood home was filled with laughter, but also the chaos of siblings and pets. The clutter taught me resilience and the ability to find joy amid disorder. Every corner was a reminder of a moment: birthday parties in the living room, quiet study sessions at the kitchen table, and arguments shared in sweltering summer heat. Each memory shaped who I am today, influencing how I approach relationships and challenges. In contrast, during my college years, I found refuge in a small library nook. The stillness and the smell of old books provided an environment that fostered focus and ambition, propelling me toward my goals during those transformative years. It was here that I discovered the power of solitude, often leaving with a newfound clarity that shifted the direction of my aspirations. Understanding the deep connections between environments and our actions opens up a world of possibilities for growth. It suggests that by intentionally creating or seeking out spaces that inspire us, we can shape our behaviors and enrich our lives. Whether it's arranging our workspace to enhance productivity or selecting the company we keep to cultivate positivity, the environments we choose to immerse ourselves in can be powerful catalysts for change. A practical reminder is to take a moment to observe your surroundings and consider how they influence your mood and actions. Small adjustments, like adding plants to your office or choosing a cafe with inspiring artwork, might unlock a new level of creativity and joy. Reflection on personal influences. Reflecting on key life experiences reveals much about who I am today. There were moments in my childhood that anchored my understanding of the world. I remember a rainy afternoon when my family faced a personal crisis. The fear and uncertainty hung in the air as shadows danced around our small living room. It was during this turbulent time that I learned the importance of resilience and support. The way my parents came together, despite the overwhelming odds, taught me about unity and strength. I found that these small, seemingly mundane moments carry immense weight in shaping my character. Even now, I draw upon those lessons. They instill a sense of purpose when faced with challenges. Understanding the pivotal moments that influenced my behavior is equally enlightening. For instance, there was a time when I discovered my passion for storytelling. I was 9, holding a tattered notebook filled with my wild imaginings. Sharing those stories with my classmates filled me with a sense of belonging and excitement that I had never known before. This revelation became a cornerstone of my identity, guiding me towards creative endeavors throughout my life. Each time I share my words, I think back to that shy child who bravely stepped into the spotlight, encouraged by the warmth of appreciative laughter and applause. These instances are woven into the fabric of my existence, reminding me that our actions and emotions are interconnected. They reveal the impact of our choices and experiences on our behaviors and dreams. Recognizing how deeply intertwined our experiences are can be liberating. It empowers us to embrace every part of our journey. One practical way to cultivate this awareness is through journaling. Writing allows for reflection, helping to identify the moments that shape our identity. It's a chance to delve deeper into our thoughts and feelings, discovering patterns that have influenced our choices. By regularly capturing fleeting thoughts, we create a map of our emotional landscape, illuminating the path of personal growth. Embracing this practice can foster understanding and inspire us as we navigate our unique journeys. Chapter 2: The Influence of Emotion. Emotional Triggers in Daily Life. Identifying emotional triggers is like shining a light into the corners of our everyday experiences. We often encounter situations that spark feelings we didn't expect. For instance, walking into a cafe and catching a whiff of freshly brewed coffee can transport me back to my childhood, bringing a rush of warmth and comfort. Similarly, a short conversation with a stranger can trigger feelings of anxiety or excitement, depending on the context and my mood on that particular day. Some common emotional triggers I find include the laughter of friends, the sound of sirens in the distance, or even the sight of an old photograph. These moments, seemingly small, have a powerful influence on my emotions, reminding me of past joys or sorrows. Recognizing them in my daily life has become crucial for my emotional awareness and growth. Understanding my emotional triggers has taught me that they are not just obstacles, but rather stepping stones towards self discovery. It's about embracing these feelings, analyzing them, and learning from the way they impact my daily choices. Perhaps one practical approach I've found helpful is to keep a journal where I note down instances when I feel triggered, describing the situation and my emotional response. This practice helps me to trace patterns and recognize recurring triggers, making me more mindful and grounded. By fostering this awareness, I can navigate my emotional landscape with more grace, equipping myself to turn potential pitfalls into pathways for personal growth. The feedback loop of emotion and behavior. Feelings and actions are intertwined in a way that can often feel like a dance, each influencing the other in a constant flow. I've noticed this in my own life, where low moods sometimes lead me to withdraw from friends and family, creating a ripple effect that reinforces my feelings of isolation. When I'm happy, I find myself more open to the world, engaging in spontaneous activities that further boost my spirits. It's a cycle that can feel automatic at times, as if my emotions are puppeteering my actions without me even realizing it. This reciprocal relationship illustrates how deeply embedded our emotions are in our behaviors. Recognizing this connection allows me to take a step back and question the motivations behind my actions. Are they genuinely reflecting what I want, or are they simply reactions to how I'm feeling in the moment? Being aware of this cycle has illuminated the patterns I tend to fall into. Often, I find that certain emotions trigger familiar behaviors. Stress, for instance, pushes me toward procrastination, while excitement drives me to be more proactive. This self discovery has been invaluable. It has led me to a more profound understanding of myself and prompted me to seek healthier ways to cope with my emotions. Now, when I notice a wave of sadness creeping in, I am more likely to recognize it and avoid the tempting urge to isolate myself. Instead, I might reach out to a friend or take a walk in nature. These choices not only change my emotional landscape, but also begin to alter the habitual patterns that have shaped my response to adversity. Ultimately, this journey through the feedback loop of emotion and behavior emphasizes the importance of mindful engagement with both feelings and actions. By becoming aware of this interplay, I not only take control of my world, but also foster resilience against the ups and downs of life. Paying attention to how I feel and noticing how it influences what I do serves as a powerful tool for growth. It's in these small but significant choices that I find ways to break free from the automatic responses and build a life that aligns more closely with my true self. Whenever you feel caught in a similar cycle, try to pause, reflect, and choose actions that will uplift your spirit instead of letting emotions dictate your steps. Personal stories of emotional reactions. As I look back on moments that struck a chord deep within me, I realize how vividly these emotional reactions have shaped my understanding of myself and the world around me. One particular event stands out vividly. I remember standing in my grandmother's living room, the air thick with memories and the scent of her freshly baked apple pie. As she recounted tales of her childhood, each story seemed to pull at the strings of my heart, and I felt a rush of nostalgia, coupled with an aching love. My eyes welled up with tears, not just from sadness, but from a profound appreciation for the connections we've woven through generations. This blend of emotions opened a window into my values, revealing how deeply I cherish family bonds and the stories that connect us. Analyzing such reactions helps illuminate various aspects of my personality. In that moment with my grandmother, my sensitivity emerged as a defining trait. Each tear was a reflection of not just sorrow, but also gratitude and respect for my roots. This awareness guides my relationships, often making me more empathetic towards others. Recognizing my emotional responses enables me to understand where I stand in my journey. It tells me that I am not just a passive observer in life, but rather an active participant, engaging fully with the emotions that flow through me. Embracing this side of myself helps me navigate experiences more authentically, letting me appreciate joy and pain alike, creating a rich tapestry of living. My emotional vulnerabilities often open pathways to deeper connections with those around me, helping foster a sense of community and belonging. One practical takeaway from this reflection is the importance of acknowledging and embracing our emotional responses. Each reaction we experience is a key to understanding ourselves better. By allowing ourselves to feel deeply and share these moments, we not only grow individually but also create bonds that can uplift and inspire others. Recognizing your emotional reactions as telltale signs of your values and personality traits might just be the first step towards a more fulfilling, connected life. Chapter 3: The Power of Habit, the Formation of Habits. Understanding the process through which habits are established begins with recognizing that habits are not just actions we perform. They form a complex interplay between our environment, our thoughts, and our routines. For me, the journey of habit formation starts with small decisions often made in the quiet corners of my day. Whether it's choosing to take a morning walk or picking up a book instead of scrolling my phone, these small choices lead to patterns. Each time I repeat these actions, my brain begins to wire itself around them, creating pathways that eventually make these behaviors automatic. The cue, routine, and reward cycle becomes a familiar dance in my daily life, often without me even realizing it. I have learned that understanding this cycle has allowed me to consciously foster good habits while gently nudging away the ones that no longer serve me. Reflecting on the habits I've formed over the years brings a flood of memories, some uplifting and others a bit harder to face. There was a time when I believed that habits were set in stone, but through reflection, I've discovered they are more like clay, shaped by the hands of experience and intention. I remember how I began journaling during a particularly tough period. It wasn't an easy habit to cultivate. Nightly dedication felt like a chore at first, but as days turned into weeks, I found solace in those pages. It transformed from a task into a ritual, providing me with clarity and comfort. On the flip side, I acknowledged the habitual tendency I had to procrastinate tasks that felt overwhelming. Understanding the fear and avoidance that fueled this habit allowed me to retrain my mind gradually, breaking down big tasks into smaller, manageable steps. Each reflection reveals that my habits are a reflection of my growth, a mirror of my struggles and victories. The insights I've gained from my journey with habits remind me that change is possible and often begins with just one small step. I've learned that being mindful of my habits can empower me to make conscious choices that lead to a more fulfilling life. A useful tip I've found is to keep a habit tracker, a simple tool that allows me to visualize my progress and hold myself accountable. This practice not only encourages me to stay consistent, but also celebrates my efforts, no matter how small. It serves as a reminder that habits, whether good or bad, are deeply rooted in our daily choices, and that by understanding this, we can steer our lives in a direction that feels both intentional and rewarding. Breaking bad habits, a personal journey. I often found myself trapped in cycles of habits that felt like heavy chains anchoring me to a spot where I couldn't grow. The realization struck me one dreary afternoon as I scrolled mindlessly through social media, ignoring the endless pile of unfinished tasks surrounding me. Each notification served as both distraction and temporary escape. Yet the relief it provided was fleeting. The late nights turned into groggy mornings. The procrastination weighed down my ambitions, and the sugar-laden snacks became my comfort in stressful moments. Documenting these struggles was a cathartic exercise. It illuminated patterns I often brushed aside. I began to see how these detrimental habits interwove with my daily life and how they chipped away at my self-esteem and well-being. This realization was both startling and motivational, as documenting my journey unearthed the truth of my experiences and equipped me with the understanding I needed to advocate for change. The path to breaking bad habits is a deeply personal one, marked by struggles and triumphs, and it encourages us to reflect on our choices. As I navigated through ups and downs, I realized that sharing my experiences and insights created deeper connections with others facing similar challenges. One piece of advice I found invaluable is to document your journey, whether through journaling, blogging, or discussing it with friends. This not only holds you accountable, but also allows you to track progress and celebrate milestones, no matter how small. Remember, habits don't change overnight, but with patience and persistent effort, transformation is within reach. Building positive routines. Effective strategies for cultivating positive habits are the foundation of a fulfilling life. I've learned that habits don't just form, they require intention and consistency. One of the most impactful strategies I've embraced is creating a structure around my day. Each morning, I wake up at the same time, which has instilled a sense of discipline. There's something powerful about starting the day with purpose. As I walk through my living space, I take a moment to appreciate the tranquility before the world awakens. This quiet time allows me to set my intentions, clarifying what I want to accomplish for the day. Journaling has also become a crucial part of my routine, enabling me to reflect and write down my goals and thoughts. I find that documenting my progress not only tracks my growth, but also motivates me to continue striving for better. By consistently engaging in these small practices, I've cultivated resilience and positivity that feeds into every aspect of my life. Outlining my current routines reveals the profound impact they have on enhancing my daily life. Each evening, I carve out a moment to wind down. I disconnect from screens and dedicate this time to reading or meditating. These practices aren't just enjoyable, they serve as a natural transition into rest. After a day full of stimuli, I find solace in gentle stories or calming thoughts. My evening also includes prepping for the following day, sometimes picking out my outfit or organizing my workspace. This simple act reduces decision fatigue and allows me to wake up with clarity. Regular exercise has also become a staple of my schedule. Whether it's a brisk walk or a quick workout, moving my body fills me with energy and a sense of accomplishment. I've observed how these routines intertwine, each reinforcing the other, establishing a rhythm that makes each day more manageable and fulfilling. Every person's journey is unique, and the key to finding what works lies in experimentation and self-reflection. I encourage you to look at your own life and identify one small habit you can integrate into your routine. Something simple, like drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning. From these small beginnings, larger changes often follow. It's through these personalized routines that we can nurture growth and resilience, shaping our lives into a canvas rich with purpose and positivity. Chapter 4. Decision-making processes. The psychology behind choices. Understanding how psychological factors influence our choices often leads us down a fascinating path of self-discovery. Each decision we make is not just a reflection of the external world, but a mirror of our inner thoughts, emotions, and past experiences. I find it intriguing how a simple choice, like what to eat for breakfast or which route to take to work, can trigger a cascade of psychological influences. My mood that morning, the weather outside, or even a conversation I had the night before can subtly sway my preferences in various directions. These nuanced reminders of our emotional states show us that our choices are deeply influenced by a complex interplay of cognitive processes. This might make me choose a comforting bowl of oatmeal on a rainy day, while on a sunlit morning, I may crave a refreshing smoothie. Each choice is a story waiting to be uncovered, echoing our subconscious desires and fears. When faced with a decision, I've learned to recognize the cognitive processes at play, often in a moment of pause before I act. It's in this space that I become acutely aware of my thoughts, acknowledging the logic swirling around in my mind while also listening to the intuitive pull of my instincts. This duality can lead to moments of tension, yet also clarity. For instance, when I contemplate a job offer, I not only weigh the pros and cons presented logically, but also dive into my feelings about the work environment, company values, and how these resonate with who I am. The interplay of rational thought and emotional insight doesn't just influence the outcome of my choices, it enriches my understanding of the very nature of decision-making itself. Recognizing this can transform a seemingly mundane choice into an empowering experience. Every decision is not just a fleeting moment, but a building block to something larger within us. The next time I stand at a crossroads, I remind myself to embrace this complex psychological dance. Understanding that my feelings, thoughts, and experiences all converge to shape my choices encourages me to be more mindful. This practice invites reflection and awareness, shedding light on the reasons behind my decisions. In this way, even the simplest choices can become profound opportunities for growth and self awareness. By slowing down and tuning into my inner dialogue, I can make choices that are not only intellectually sound, but also authentically resonate with my true self. Overthinking and its consequences. Overanalyzing decisions often feels like a mental trap, one that ensnares us in endless loops of thought. Every small choice transforms into a major dilemma, and with each passing moment, the pages of our minds fill with potential outcomes, risks, and regrets. The simple act of choosing a restaurant can spiral into a saga of possibilities. Will the food be good? What if it's too noisy? Or will I be judged for my choice by those I'm with? I have found myself scrutinizing my decisions to the point where the fear of making a mistake paralyzed me, leading to indecision rather than clear choices. This pattern isolated me at times, as inaction resulted simply from thinking too much rather than acting on what I wanted to do. Living in a constant state of deliberation took a toll on my happiness, affecting not only my mental well being, but also my relationships with friends and family, who often saw the confusion in my eyes when faced with even trivial options. Reflecting on my experiences, I can trace numerous moments when overthinking reared its head, often at the most inconvenient times. I remember vividly the discomfort I felt during a career choice I faced years ago. I spent weeks pondering whether to change jobs, considering every angle, consequence, and potential for failure. Ultimately, I lost sight of what truly mattered, my instinct and passion for what I wanted to pursue. My internal chatter became deafening, drowning out the excitement and desire that initially propelled me toward that new path. There were nights I lay awake, grappling with self-doubt, the what-ifs playing on repeat like a relentless soundtrack, making me question my abilities and worth. I realized that this incessant cycle of thoughts robbed me of opportunities, experiences, and enjoyment of life. Rather than remaining caught in this cycle, I have learned the importance of grounding myself, embracing spontaneity, and recognizing that perfection is an illusion. It can be liberating to acknowledge that not every decision has to be dissected to its core. Small, actionable steps toward a choice can build the momentum to move forward. Letting go of the desperate need for reassurance and embracing uncertainty has allowed me to navigate decisions without fear, shackling my spirit. Each time I catch myself overthinking, I remind myself that it's okay to be imperfect and human. By adopting a practice of simplifying choices and focusing on the present moment, I have reclaimed my peace. The next time you find yourself mired in overanalysis, consider taking a deep breath, trusting in your instincts, and making a decision based on what feels right in that moment. It can be the difference between stagnation and vibrant living. Real life decisions, my struggles. Throughout my life, I have faced significant decisions that shaped my path in ways I could hardly have imagined. One pivotal moment came when I chose to leave a stable job that many would consider a dream opportunity. It was comfortable, predictable, and secure. But deep inside, I felt a nagging urge to pursue something that resonated more with my passions. The challenges around this decision tugged at me constantly. Leaving behind a known environment and the comfort of a steady paycheck filled me with anxiety. What if I failed? What if I couldn't find another job? These thoughts haunted me as I weighed my options and wrestled with the potential outcomes. My heart was telling me to leap into the unknown, yet my mind was full of doubts that seemed to scream for caution. Reflecting on that decision, I realize now that it was not just about leaving a job. It was about stepping into a new chapter of my life where I could truly explore what I was capable of. The outcome of taking that leap was not perfect. I faced obstacles and uncertainty, but I also discovered strengths I never knew I had. I learned to adapt and be resilient in the face of challenges, connecting with people who inspired me along the way. Each struggle taught me valuable lessons about perseverance and the importance of believing in myself. Ultimately, I emerged not only with new skills, but with a deeper understanding of my own values and what I wanted to prioritize in my life. These experiences highlight an important truth. Significant decisions often come wrapped in layers of struggle, yet they also pave the way for growth and self-discovery. When faced with tough choices, it's essential to confront your fears and embrace the challenges that arise. By doing so, you open yourself up to opportunities that can lead to personal fulfillment. Always remember that the process of making decisions is as crucial as the outcome itself. Each choice contributes to the unfolding story of your life, making it uniquely yours. Chapter 5: Social Influences and Peer Pressure. The Need for Belonging. The desire for social connection is a thread woven deeply into the fabric of humanity. From the moment we take our first breaths, we seek out relationships and bonds with others. This fundamental need for belonging goes beyond mere companionship. It's an essential part of who we are. Personal experiences often illustrate this need starkly. I recall moments in my own life where the absence of connection left me feeling adrift. There were times in school when I stood on the sidelines watching other kids laugh and share inside jokes. In those moments, a profound sense of loneliness washed over me. I yearned to be part of something bigger, to share my thoughts, my dreams, and even my fears with those who would understand. This longing has existed in many forms throughout my life, driving me to seek communities and friendships. Recognizing the human need for belonging can deepen our understanding of ourselves and each other. When we acknowledge this shared desire, we cultivate empathy and support in our communities. I've learned that even a small gesture, like reaching out to someone who might be isolated, can create ripples of connection. Engaging in conversations, sharing experiences, and being vulnerable can foster a sense of belonging, not only for ourselves, but for others too. It starts with being open and willing to embrace our shared humanity. By nurturing our relationships, we help each other feel seen, heard, and valued, creating a tapestry of connections that thrives on compassion and understanding. Navigating relationships and expectations. Navigating the complex web of social expectations can feel overwhelming at times. We often find ourselves caught in the current of what others want from us, whether it's our friends, family, or colleagues. Their needs and desires can shape our actions and responses, sometimes leading us away from our authentic selves. It's a delicate balance. How do we honor these relationships without losing our individuality? I've stumbled through many scenarios where I felt the weight of expectations pressing down on me. The moments of doubt and introspection often gave birth to realizations about the importance of setting boundaries and communicating openly. Learning to say no, communicating my limits, and understanding the roots of these expectations has been essential. By acknowledging that not every expectation requires my compliance, I found space to breathe and be myself amidst the clamor of societal pressures. Balance and authenticity seem to be the key. By striving to maintain my individuality while embracing the unique qualities of those around me, I create a pathway toward meaningful relationships. It's helpful to remember that everyone's journey is different, and the struggles that come with these relationships can be a source of learning. As you navigate your own social landscape, consider how much of your energy is spent fulfilling other people's expectations compared to nurturing your true self. The more we lean into authenticity, the richer our connections with others become. Sometimes a simple check-in with ourselves to assess our feelings about a relationship can reveal whether it's time to set new boundaries or breathe new life into our connections. Personal experiences with peer dynamics. Reflecting on my younger years, I remember a moment that felt like a defining chapter in my life. I was in middle school, standing in the schoolyard, my heart racing with the thrill and fear of social acceptance. My friends dared me to do something I had never considered: shave my head. It was an outrageous challenge, and I felt the eyes of my peers upon me, urging me to go further. Their laughter and encouragement created a powerful wave of peer pressure that pulled me closer to the edge of my own comfort zone. In that moment, it didn't matter that I had reservations or that I loved my long hair. All I wanted was to fit in and be accepted. So I did it. I took the leap, and what followed was a whirlwind of mixed emotions. On one hand, the exhilaration of standing out was intoxicating. On the other, I quickly realized that the very group that cheered for me had their own expectations of who I should be and how I should act. This anecdote exemplifies how peer pressure can sometimes propel us toward the unknown, but it also serves as a reminder of its complex aftermath. Throughout my life, I faced various situations that tested my ability to adapt to or resist the influences around me. In high school, I struggled with the pressure to drink and party. Many of my classmates seemed to embrace a reckless lifestyle, reveling in a world that often glorified temporary thrills. I felt the weight of those expectations pressing down on me, whispering that to be part of the group, I had to conform. Yet I found strength in understanding my personal values and what I truly wanted out of life. Rather than simply following along, I started to carve out my own path. I discovered that being different could also mean being more authentic. Choosing to spend my weekends pursuing hobbies or volunteering instead of partying didn't make me less cool. It simply defined my unique narrative. This transformation came with its challenges. I faced questioning and even alienation from some of my peers. However, I also found those who appreciated my authenticity, and they became my true friends. Embracing my individuality became a shield against the forces of conformity. The journey of navigating peer dynamics is not merely about submission or defiance, but also about discovering oneself amid the noise of social expectations. In reflecting on my experiences, I've come to realize how crucial it is to identify what truly matters to us. It's easy to get lost in the crowd and overlook our own desires. A practical tip for anyone facing similar pressures is to take a step back and ask yourself, what do I genuinely want, and who do I want to be? When you anchor yourself to your values, you build resilience against external influences, creating a foundation that empowers you to stand firm. Embracing who you are, even when the tides of peer pressure rise, can lead to deeper connections and a more fulfilling life. Chapter 6. The Role of Culture and Behavior. Cultural Norms and Their Impact. Cultural expectations profoundly shape how individuals behave and interact with others. Each one of us carries the invisible thread of our upbringing, woven from the values, traditions, and social norms that define our communities. From a young age, I absorbed lessons about respect, responsibility, and the importance of family. These norms weren't just abstract concepts. They became the guiding principles for my daily actions. For instance, the expectation to greet elders with deference was instilled in me so deeply that I often found myself processing situations through that lens. The weight of these cultural influences made me mindful of my gestures, choice of words, and even the tone of my voice as I navigated various social landscapes. I came to realize that these ingrained behaviors could either empower me to connect more profoundly with others or limit my interaction with those outside my cultural boundaries. In navigating my life, I learned to embrace both my cultural heritage and the lessons learned from others. Each encounter became an opportunity to reflect on my values and adapt my actions to various social settings. I understood that while cultural norms can act as a guiding force, they should not bind us to a single narrative. This flexibility allowed me to grow and evolve, constantly reshaping my identity. I discovered that by respecting my roots while also being open to new influences, I could create connections that transcend cultural boundaries. For anyone seeking growth, understanding your cultural backdrop and how it shapes your behavior is key. It opens doors to deeper connections and a more profound appreciation for the diverse tapestry of humanity around us. Consider taking time to reflect on your own cultural narratives and how they influence your perceptions. This awareness can empower you to navigate your own journey more authentically and purposefully. My cultural identity and behavioral patterns. Exploring my cultural identity has been like peeling back the layers of an onion, revealing more about myself with each layer removed. I often find that my actions, choices, and reactions are deeply intertwined with the values and traditions I grew up with. This connection shapes not only how I see the world, but also how I navigate it. For instance, the emphasis on community and family in my culture encourages me to seek collaborative solutions rather than approaching challenges as an individual. When faced with decisions, I instinctively consider the potential impact on those around me. This instinct often manifests in my reluctance to take risks if they might disrupt harmony or upset someone else. Understanding this about myself has been enlightening, as it helps me recognize patterns in my behavior that stem from a rich cultural heritage. Reflecting on my cultural values, I've realized how they serve as a compass guiding my daily decisions. The principles of respect and hospitality deeply resonate with me. They inform my interactions, whether I am engaging with close friends or meeting someone for the first time. I often think about how my upbringing has instilled in me the importance of treating others with kindness and understanding, principles that resonate strongly in my actions. When making choices, I also weigh the expectations others might have based on these values. This ongoing internal dialogue influences my career decisions, relationships, and even hobbies, making me more mindful of the cultural narratives I embody. My values push me to seek balance and ensure that my path aligns with both my aspirations and my cultural roots. As I navigate the complexities of being both an individual and a member of my culture, I find that aligning my behavior with my identity enriches my experiences. A practical tip that has helped me is to regularly reflect on my decisions through the lens of my cultural beliefs. Journaling about significant choices I've made allows me to dissect how much of my decision making is influenced by my cultural background. This practice not only deepens my understanding of myself, but also fosters a sense of gratitude for the heritage that shapes who I am. By continuing to explore this connection, I can embrace my identity while forging my own unique path. Adapting to new social contexts. Adjusting my behavior in different cultural settings has always been a complex dance, an intricate blend of awareness and instinct. Each time I step into a new environment, there's a flurry of emotions. I often feel excitement coupled with the unsettling weight of uncertainty. I recall one particular instance when I moved to a vibrant city infused with a rich tapestry of cultures. The first day, I found myself frozen, observing the locals engage in what seemed to be an unspoken code of conduct. Their laughter was loud, accompanied by expressive gestures that felt foreign to me. I wondered if my more reserved demeanor would fit into this new landscape. As days turned into weeks, I realized that every culture has its own rhythm, but sometimes it takes an outsider's perspective to truly appreciate it. The challenge lay not just in mimicking the behavior, but in understanding the subtleties, the layered meanings behind each smile or each pause during conversation. Adjusting to these differences didn't merely require awareness, it also called for a willingness to immerse myself, to learn from observations, and at times, from my own blunders. Reflecting on my journey, several moments stand out as turning points. One memorable experience involved joining a community event in that same city where locals gathered to celebrate their heritage through food, dance, and storytelling. Tentatively, I stepped beyond my comfort zone, participating in traditional dances despite my initial awkwardness. To my surprise, laughter erupted, this time not at my expense, but in camaraderie. A few locals approached me, engaging in conversation that transformed my apprehension into an exhilarating connection. By embracing the unfamiliar, I navigated this new social landscape, finding threads of commonality and understanding. Each interaction left me enriched, painting vivid pictures of diverse perspectives. The more I adapted, the more I realized that the essence of any culture lies not just in its customs, but in the warmth of human connection. As I reflect on these experiences, a practical insight emerges. The key to adapting to new social contexts is an open heart and a flexible mind. When faced with cultural differences, absorbing rather than judging can lead to surprising insights and friendships. It is essential to approach new environments with curiosity. Every gesture, every exchange carries lessons. Allow yourself to stumble and learn. Often, those missteps become the most memorable stories. Cultivating patience and empathy can bridge gaps between seemingly disparate backgrounds, making each new experience not just a challenge, but a profoundly enriching journey. Chapter 7: The Science of Motivation. Intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Understanding the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation has been a journey that deeply influences how I pursue my goals. Intrinsic motivation springs from within. It's that inner desire to do something simply because it brings joy, fulfillment, or a sense of purpose. It's the thrill of painting, not for praise or a gallery showing, but for the sheer pleasure of creating. On the other hand, extrinsic motivation relies on external rewards like praise, money, or recognition. I remember striving hard for good grades as a child, not just for the knowledge, but for the shiny gold stars my teacher handed out. Recognizing these two forces leads to profound insights into what truly drives my actions. Reflecting on which form of motivation resonates more with me reveals a complex interplay. I often find that intrinsic motivation fuels my passion most effectively. It is in writing, painting, and exploring that I feel most alive and engaged. I can recall late nights spent immersed in a story I needed to tell, completely detached from any idea of audience approval. Yet, there are times when extrinsic rewards have played a crucial role. A simple compliment on a piece of work can ignite a spark, pushing me to delve deeper. This blend shapes my outlook and my creative process. Knowing when to lean into intrinsic joy or channel the energy from external validation helps me navigate my ambitions with clarity. Recognizing the balance between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation is vital for anyone striving for success. Each has its place, and understanding this dynamic can lead to a more fulfilling pursuit. To harness intrinsic motivation, find activities that bring you joy and allow yourself to get lost in the process, free from the pressure of outcomes. Meanwhile, don't underestimate the power of external encouragement. Sometimes, a simple acknowledgement from others can keep the momentum going. Experiment with both forms and see where they lead you. Personal motivators that drive me. Identifying the key motivators that inspire my daily actions has been a journey of self-discovery. Each morning, I wake up with a sense of purpose, driven by the things that matter most to me. My family serves as a constant source of inspiration. Their love and support push me to strive for better every day. When I think of my children, I feel an overwhelming desire to set a good example, to show them the value of hard work and perseverance. This sense of responsibility fills my days with meaning and fuels my ambition. Additionally, my passion for learning ignites a fire within me. I find joy in seeking knowledge and exploring new ideas. And this thirst for understanding prompts me to take on new challenges, both personally and professionally. The small victories I achieve, whether finishing a book or mastering a new skill, motivate me to keep moving forward. Exploring how these motivators influence my long-term goals reveals a deeper understanding of why I pursue certain paths. The commitment to my family shapes my aspirations. It leads me to set goals that not only benefit me, but also create a better future for them. I am often found planning my next career move, ensuring that each step I take aligns with my vision for a stable and fulfilling life. Similarly, my desire for lifelong learning drives me to seek opportunities that expand my horizons. I am not content with stagnation. Instead, I am motivated to constantly progress, whether it's advancing in my career, developing new talents, or even giving back to my community through mentoring. The intertwining of these motivations has created a roadmap for my life, one that is both ambitious and meaningful. When examining my personal motivators, I've learned that staying connected to them is essential to achieving my goals. Reflecting on what inspires me keeps that spark alive, ensuring that my journey is not just about reaching destinations, but also about enjoying the process. Keeping a journal of my thoughts and progress can be a helpful practice, allowing me to track how these motivations evolve over time and reminding me of where I came from and where I want to go. By staying attuned to what drives me, I remain engaged and passionate in my pursuits, leading to a life filled with purpose and fulfillment. Overcoming demotivation. Demotivation can feel like a heavy fog that drapes over every aspect of life. It creeps in subtly at first, often triggered by a variety of personal factors. Sometimes it's the overwhelming nature of daily responsibilities, work, relationships, or even self-imposed expectations that begins to weigh heavily on the mind. Other times, it could stem from external circumstances, such as criticism or setbacks, which can sap the enthusiasm we once felt. A feeling of being trapped in a monotonous routine can also contribute to this sense of defeat. When I found myself staring at a blank page, longing for a spark, I realized the weight of my struggles was more profound than I anticipated. I felt the familiar sting of disappointment and confusion creeping in, casting shadows over my aspirations. In those difficult moments, I began to experiment with different strategies to reclaim my enthusiasm. One effective approach was to revisit my initial motivations, the dreams and ambitions that stirred my spirit in the first place. I dug into my personal history, recalling what ignited my passion and what achievements made my heart race. Journaling became a tool of reflection. It helped me clarify my thoughts and recognize the progress I had already made. Additionally, I started to set small, achievable goals. By focusing on tiny victories rather than monumental tasks, I found that each completion reignited a flicker of motivation within me. Another powerful technique was connecting with others who shared my interests. Engaging in discussions with like minded individuals reminded me of the joy that comes from shared passion. These relationships cultivated an environment of inspiration and support, gradually lifting me out of the depths of demotivation. As I navigated through the ups and downs of my journey, one practical tip stood out above the rest: allow yourself grace. Recognizing that demotivation is a natural part of life can lessen its impact and make it feel less daunting. It's perfectly okay to have off days or even off weeks. What matters is the willingness to take small steps forward. Remember to check in with yourself regularly and embrace both the challenges and triumphs along the way. By doing so, you'll find that the path to reigniting your passion becomes clearer, and the fog of demotivation will dissipate. Chapter 8: The Mind-Body Connection: How Physical Health Affects Behavior. There is a profound link between our physical and mental states that often goes unnoticed. I've come to understand that what I feel physically influences my mood, my thoughts, and even the way I interact with the world around me. When I wake up after a night of restful sleep, my mind is clearer and I feel more motivated. The contrast is stark. On days when I skip a workout or indulge in unhealthy foods, my energy plummets, leading to irritability and a lack of focus. It's fascinating how deeply interconnected these aspects of my life are, forming a tapestry where the threads of physical health and mental clarity are woven together. The way my body feels directly impacts how I perceive challenges, joy, and even relationships, reminding me that neglecting one can lead to adversity in the other. Reflecting on my personal fitness regimen reveals just how transformative physical health can be for daily behavior. When I commit to a routine that includes regular exercise and balanced nutrition, I notice a cascade of positive changes. My energy levels significantly increase, making it easier to tackle tasks that once felt daunting. Interactions with others become richer and more meaningful. I find myself smiling more and engaging actively in conversations. On days when I move my body, be it a brisk walk, a yoga session, or lifting weights, I feel stronger, not just physically, but emotionally, which makes me more resilient to life's ups and downs. It's clear that my fitness journey is not just about muscles or calories burned. It's about cultivating a mindset that embraces positivity and passion. In this pursuit, I've learned that nurturing physical health is a continuous journey. It's crucial to tune into how specific choices affect my behavior in the long term. Keeping a journal helps me reflect on my experiences, tracking not just workouts, but also my emotional responses and social interactions. This practice has opened my eyes to the significance of routine and the power of mindful living. By embracing a holistic approach to health, where I honor my body's need for movement, rest, and nourishment, I not only enhance my physical fitness, but also enrich my overall quality of life. A practical tip is to start small. Even brief periods of activity can yield great benefits. Whether it's stretching for a few minutes each morning or taking the stairs instead of the elevator, every little action contributes to a healthier, happier you. Emotional wellness and physical activity. Emotional health has a profound influence on how active we choose to be. I remember moments when my mood would dictate whether I laced up my sneakers or opted for another hour on the couch. On days when anxiety crept in, physical activity felt like an insurmountable challenge. Yet, I discovered that when I prioritized my emotional well-being and addressed the underlying feelings, my motivation to move naturally increased. Embracing my emotions allowed me to understand the connection between my mental state and the rhythm of my body. Through meditation and mindfulness practices, I became more in tune with my feelings. This awareness led me to appreciate how a simple walk in nature could lift my spirits, providing clarity and peace that energize my body. My journey to integrate physical wellness with emotional growth began unexpectedly during a time of personal turmoil. I found solace in yoga classes, which not only challenged my body but also served as a sanctuary for my mind. Each pose offered me a new perspective. The struggle to balance became a metaphor for my life. As I persisted in these classes, I realized that each drop of sweat carried away the weights of my worries. I began to explore various forms of exercise, from swimming to dancing, each shaping my emotional landscape. The joy that dancing brings, for instance, unlocked a creativity I hadn't tapped into before. This realization, how physical activity could cultivate emotional health, transformed my approach to self-care. I learned to turn to movement as a way to connect with my feelings instead of numb them. Incorporating exercise into my routine became less about achieving a goal and more about nurturing my overall wellness. It became a celebration of my emotions rather than a battleground. Finding activities that I genuinely enjoyed became key to this integration. Whether it was hiking with friends or simply having a dance-off in my living room, I learned to listen to my body and my heart. For anyone looking to enhance their well-being, starting small is paramount. Find a movement that excites you and allow it to become a part of your life. Consider it not just an exercise, but a step toward emotional growth. Remember, the journey toward emotional wellness through physical activity is deeply personal, and it's the small, joyful steps that lead us forward. Journey towards a balanced lifestyle. Documenting my quest for a holistic approach to health has been both enlightening and challenging. At the start, I felt overwhelmed by the sheer volume of information available on holistic health. I discovered that achieving balance was not just about diet or exercise, but about nurturing my mind, body, and spirit. Daily rituals began to form as I incorporated meditation, mindful eating, and physical activity into my routine. Each small change I made felt monumental as the days turned into weeks. I learned to listen to my body, making adjustments based on how I felt, rather than adhering strictly to trends or societal pressures. Reflecting on the challenges and victories along the way, I remember moments that tested my resolve. There were days when motivation waned and old habits beckoned. I wrestled with the guilt that sometimes accompanied my indulgences, but each time I stumbled, I learned valuable lessons. Celebrating the small triumphs helped me stay focused. A morning run that felt freeing, or a perfectly cooked meal, savored mindfully, brought waves of satisfaction that outweighed any misstep. These experiences shaped my understanding that balance is not about perfection, it's about progress and self-compassion. Finding this equilibrium has been transformative, showing me that a truly balanced lifestyle emerges not from strict rules, but from a deep connection to my own values and desires. As I continue on this journey, one practical tip stands out. Embrace flexibility in your routines. Allow yourself to adapt based on how you feel each day. This adaptability fosters resilience, making the pursuit of a balanced lifestyle not just a goal, but an enjoyable and fulfilling experience. Chapter 9: Cognitive Biases and Perception. Understanding our cognitive limitations. Identifying cognitive biases we all experience can be a profound realization. These biases are like invisible barriers that shape the way we understand the world. They distort our perception, skew our reasoning, and often lead us to illogical conclusions. For instance, the confirmation bias often causes us to favor information that aligns with our pre-existing beliefs while ignoring facts that contradict them. The anchoring effect can also ensnare us, as we may rely too heavily on the first piece of information we encounter when making decisions. In navigating daily life, these cognitive shortcuts can be helpful, but they often blind us to the broader picture. Reflecting on my own experiences, I realize how these biases have colored my perception. Moments in my life where I clung to erroneous beliefs, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary, stand out. I remember a time when I supported a particular political view, fiercely advocating for it while dismissing other perspectives. This was fueled by my confirmation bias. Only after engaging in discussions and exposing myself to diverse viewpoints did I understand the full spectrum of the issue. How I view the world has shifted dramatically because of this awareness. Realizing that my thoughts are often influenced by cognitive processes that I'm unaware of creates a humbling sense of clarity. It allows me to approach situations with more openness and curiosity rather than judgment. Understanding our cognitive limitations is more than just knowledge, it's an invitation to introspection. Each time I challenge my biases, I open myself to a richer understanding of life and the people around me. One practical tip I've found useful is to consciously seek out perspectives that differ from my own. Engaging with content that opposes my views has been instrumental in broadening my understanding. By being aware of cognitive biases and acknowledging the complexity of our thinking, we foster a mindset that is more open, adaptive, and truly engaged with the world. How biases shape our opinions. Cognitive biases are these fascinating quirks in our thinking that often dictate how we make decisions. Every time I find myself grappling with a choice, whether it's a simple everyday decision about what to eat or a more significant life-changing moment like choosing a career path, I realize that my brain is playing tricks on me. For example, confirmation bias nudges me to seek out information that supports my pre-existing beliefs while disregarding anything that contradicts them. I remember times when I was adamant about a political viewpoint, unconsciously scrolling through articles that echoed my sentiments, all the while casting aside compelling arguments from the other side. It's sobering to think how our minds filter reality to fit a narrative we've already constructed. This, combined with anchoring bias, where the first piece of information I encounter lays the groundwork for my future judgments, shapes not just my decisions, but also my opinions on people and situations around me. Recognizing our biases isn't always easy. I find it helpful to pause and ask myself why I think a certain way about a person, an idea, or a scenario. What evidence am I drawing on, and how might my own experiences shape that perspective? By doing this, I can create space for growth and understanding. In a world that is increasingly polarized, it becomes crucial to seek out diverse viewpoints, allowing ourselves to engage with ideas different from our own. A simple shift in approach, like having an open discussion with someone who holds a contrasting opinion, can enrich our understanding and challenge our entrenched beliefs. Embracing the discomfort that comes from questioning our biases can lead us to deeper insights and a more connected way of living. Recognizing my own biases. Engaging in self-reflection has always been a challenge for me. It feels like peering into a mirror that not only reflects my face, but also the hidden shadows of my thoughts. When I began to consciously seek out my biases, I started to notice how they shaped my perceptions and interactions with others. Each time I sat quietly with myself, journal in hand, I unearthed layers of preconceived notions I had never acknowledged. Some were subtle, hiding beneath the surface of casual opinions, while others were glaringly obvious, screaming for attention. Recognizing these biases became not just an exercise in understanding who I am, but also in understanding the world around me. It struck me that biases distort reality, creating barriers in my relationships and decision-making processes. The more I reflected, the clearer it became that acknowledging these biases was the first step toward dismantling them. Awareness of my biases opened doors to unexpected personal growth. It encouraged me to question my reactions and challenged me to step outside my comfort zone. With each revelation about my own prejudices, I cultivated a deeper empathy towards others. I learned that biases do not define me unless I allow them to. Instead of feeling defeated by my flaws, I felt empowered to change them. This journey transformed my way of thinking and interacting. Conversations that once felt rigid became vibrant exchanges filled with curiosity. It became clear that understanding my biases wasn't just about self-improvement. It was about building meaningful connections with those around me, fostering an environment where differences are embraced rather than shunned. This proactive approach led me to seek diverse perspectives, pushing my boundaries and broadening my horizons in ways I had never dreamed possible. Every day presents a new opportunity to reflect on my biases. I keep reminding myself to stay vigilant in this process, embracing the discomfort that comes with facing my own limitations. A useful tip I discovered along the way is to practice active listening. By focusing on truly understanding others' viewpoints without the filter of my biases, I not only learn more, but also create a safe space for open dialogue. This practice has not only enriched my relationships, but has also made me more aware of how biases can mislead us. So I continue to engage in self reflection, embracing the challenge of recognizing and overcoming my biases, knowing that each step taken is a step towards a more authentic and compassionate version of myself. Chapter 10: The Impact of Technology on Behavior, Digital Interactions and Their Consequences. Technology has dramatically reshaped the landscape of our social interactions, creating a web of connections that transcends physical boundaries. My experience reflects this shift as I find myself communicating more through screens than in person. I remember the rush of excitement when receiving a message or a notification, the anticipation of connection palpable even across miles. Yet this convenience often comes with a price. While I can reach out to friends and family instantly, I sometimes feel that the depth of those interactions has diminished. Texts can lack the emotional nuance of a face-to-face conversation, leaving room for misinterpretation and distance even as we appear more connected than ever. I often wonder, are we truly engaging with each other, or just skimming the surface of our relationships through pixels and bytes? In exploring the implications of digital communication on my relationships, I recognize both the benefits and the challenges that come with this new way of connecting. There have been moments when social media has allowed me to rekindle friendships that faded over time, transforming the static memories into vibrant, ongoing dialogues. Sharing milestones, photos, and life updates creates a sense of shared existence, yet it also raises questions about authenticity. Are we curating our lives for an audience or genuinely participating in each other's experiences? My friendships sometimes feel like a series of snapshots rather than a rich tapestry of moments intertwined through laughter and tears. In this digital age, I grapple with how to maintain authenticity in my connections, ensuring that my relationships are as meaningful online as they are offline. Recognizing the nuances of my digital interactions has led me to strive for balance. I've started to establish boundaries that prioritize direct, meaningful communication over casual online exchanges. Simple practices like scheduling regular calls or video chats with friends can enhance the quality of our interactions, transforming a fleeting text into a heartfelt conversation. Always remembering to appreciate the people in my life, I have learned to check in more frequently and share not just the highlights but the mundane moments that shape our lives. This journey through technology has taught me that while it offers new pathways for connection, the essence of relationship lies in our intention to engage deeply, love authentically, and support each other wholeheartedly, regardless of the screen that separates us. Balancing digital communication with real-world interaction can foster richer relationships, ensuring they remain vibrant and fulfilling. Finding balance in a tech-heavy world. Finding balance in our tech-heavy world has become more crucial than ever. Living in a time where screens demand our attention from dawn till dusk, I realized that I needed to take a step back and assess my relationship with technology. A few simple strategies emerged from my journey. Setting consistent boundaries became one of the most impactful. For instance, I decided to establish tech-free zones in my home, particularly during family meals or before bedtime. These moments offer a sacred space to connect with loved ones, allowing genuine conversations to flourish without distractions. Another crucial element was the concept of mindful usage. I learned to be intentional about how I engage with my devices. Instead of mindlessly scrolling through social media, I began to allocate specific times for checking emails and browsing. This practice not only made my time online more meaningful, but also diminished the anxiety of constantly feeling on. I also embraced the power of digital detox days, where I would disconnect from all devices, giving myself the necessary time to recharge and reconnect with the world around me. Reflecting on my journey fills me with a mix of pride and gratitude. I used to be overwhelmed by notifications, feeling as if I was a slave to my devices. After recognizing the toll it was taking on my mental health, I took that leap towards finding balance. I remember my first digital detox weekend vividly. With no access to my phone or laptop, I initially felt an unsettling sense of withdrawal, but as hours passed, I found joy in the simplest things. a walk in nature, a long book I'd been meaning to read, or simply sitting in silence. These experiences opened my eyes to a world often overshadowed by screens. Every step forward has brought me closer to a healthier relationship with technology. I discovered new hobbies, formed deeper connections with friends and family, and most importantly, rediscovered parts of myself that had been dulled by constant connectivity. I now see technology not as a mainstay of my existence, but as a tool, a means to enhance my life rather than define it. This continued journey of exploration has taught me that finding balance takes effort, but the rewards far exceed the struggles. One practical tip for anyone seeking to establish a similar balance is to create a personal tech use journal. Document your feelings before and after using technology, what activities spark joy or stress, and how various platforms impact your mood. This reflection can be eye-opening and empower you to make informed decisions about your usage, paving the way to a more fulfilling digital experience. My relationship with social media. Social media has profoundly shaped my behavior and self-image over the years. Initially, it was a thrilling escape, offering a glimpse into lives vastly different from my own. I remember scrolling through the endless curated photos and posts, feeling a mix of admiration and envy. Each like became a small affirmation, feeding my sense of worth. However, with this digital world came an underlying pressure to present an idealized version of myself. I found myself comparing my everyday moments to the highlight reels of others. Unconsciously, I began to mold my identity based on the feedback I received online. My moods ebbed and flowed with the notifications, leading me to question my authenticity. Was I genuinely engaging with my interests, or was I merely performing for an audience? This reflection led to a crucial realization. I needed to establish boundaries between my online presence and real-life experiences to reconnect with my true self. There are undeniable positive effects that social media has had on my life. I have connected with friends from around the world, shared memorable moments, and even discovered supportive communities that resonate with my passions. Celebrating milestones and receiving encouragement during tough times has fostered a sense of belonging that is hard to find elsewhere. Yet, the negatives began to overshadow these positives, as I noticed my mental health deteriorating due to relentless exposure to curated perfection. The nagging feeling of missing out plagued my thoughts, and I became obsessed with seeking validation online. I frequently reminded myself that what I viewed was often a distorted reality, and that others, too, were battling their insecurities behind those polished images. This duality made me question the role social media played in my life and why it had such a tight grip on my emotions. One essential aspect that many overlook is the power of intentionality when using social media. Instead of allowing it to dictate my self-worth, I started to curate my feed mindfully. I followed individuals who inspired me, focused on positive content, and intentionally took breaks when necessary. By concentrating on who I wanted to be rather than who I thought I should be, I began to reshape my experience with social media. This journey isn't about completely disengaging, but rather finding a balance that serves my mental health and emotional well-being. It's crucial to remember that behind every post is a human being, experiencing their own highs and lows, and by acknowledging this, we can create a more compassionate online space. Chapter 11. Stress and its behavioral effects. The science of stress responses. Understanding the physiological and psychological responses to stress is a journey I've embarked on through personal experiences and observations. When stress impacts me, it's as if my body becomes a tightly wound spring, ready to explode at any moment. I can feel my heart racing, pumping blood faster, and my palms begin to sweat, a physical response that seems instinctual. The tension in my muscles reflects the urgency of the situation, and I often notice shallow breathing taking over my usual calm. It's fascinating to realize that this reaction is deeply rooted in our biology, a remnant from our ancestors who needed to react swiftly to danger. The adrenaline rush prepares us for a fight or flight response, igniting a cascade of hormones throughout the body. Yet, the psychological side is just as powerful. Feelings of anxiety, irritability, and overwhelm often creep in, clouding my mind and making it hard to focus on daily tasks. Every little challenge seems magnified, transforming minor inconveniences into towering mountains. It's in this blend of physiological and psychological responses that I find the full weight of stress, pushing me to explore both reactions further. Exploring how stress manifests in my daily life reveals a tapestry woven with threads of both profound and mundane challenges. Each morning, as I prepare for the day, the slightest hiccup can set the tone. A delayed bus or a rushed coffee spill becomes amplified in my mind, triggering that familiar body response. I notice caution evolving into annoyance, followed by a gentle but persistent voice urging me to breathe. As I navigate through work, the deadlines loom large, creating a pressure that wraps around my chest. There are moments when I feel overwhelmed, as if juggling a dozen things at once, and sometimes anxiety whispers that I'm not doing enough. In quiet moments, I sometimes pause to assess this stress, recognizing how it colors my interactions with others. Friends and colleagues can sense my tension, often leading to misunderstandings fueled by my defensive response. Yet, through each of these experiences, I've learned to find pockets of hope. I've discovered small practices that help me regain control, such as deep breathing or taking short breaks to recalibrate my mind. Each day becomes a little experiment in managing my response to life's stressors. As I navigate through the layers of stress, I've come to understand that stress isn't just a foe, it can also be a teacher if I allow it to be. It asks me to be aware of my limits and encourages me to practice self-compassion. It's essential to acknowledge and respect my stress reactions instead of dismissing them. Developing habits that support my well-being affirms that I have the power to respond differently. Simple acts like stepping outside for fresh air or writing down my thoughts can shift my perspective, helping me to untangle the inevitable knots of stress that form through daily life. Recognizing that I can choose how to react empowers me, reminding me that ultimately I hold the reins in this complex dance with stress. Coping mechanisms I've tried. Throughout my life, I have ventured down various paths in search of relief from the burdens of stress. Some of these coping strategies have become cherished allies, while others swiftly revealed their shortcomings. When I first encountered overwhelming feelings, I turned to physical activity. Whether it was a brisk jog around the neighborhood or an invigorating session at the gym, the sensation of my heart racing against my chest often brought a fleeting sense of clarity. The rhythmic pounding of my feet on the pavement had a way of drowning out the chaos swirling in my mind, laying the groundwork for a moment of peace. Yet, as much as I embraced exercise, I discovered that it wasn't a cure-all. There were times when I would return home from a workout, drenched in sweat and fatigue, only to find those stressors lingering in the corners of my mind, refusing to fade. I dabbled in meditation and mindfulness practices, thinking that they would grant me the serenity I sought. Initially, I struggled to sit still and quiet my thoughts, but with time and patience, those silent moments evolved into a sanctuary for my racing mind. I found solace in simply breathing, allowing myself to exist in the present, if only for a few minutes each day. However, it required consistent effort, and there were days when the weight of everything was too heavy, leaving me feeling more lost than found. Through experimentation, I began to recognize patterns in what worked for me and what didn't. Writing became a significant release, an intimate conversation I could have with myself. Whether I scribbled in a journal or crafted poems, the act of spilling my thoughts onto the page crafted a bridge to understanding my emotions. At times, my words felt like a balm, soothing the raw edges of my anxiety. On the contrary, socializing was often a double-edged sword. While sharing a laugh with friends could lift my spirits, there were moments when the thought of interacting felt insurmountable. I learned that introspection required balance. Sometimes retreating into solitude replenished my energy, while at other times, connection with loved ones turned out to be the very salve I needed. Finding my grounding in these coping mechanisms taught me that the journey is highly personal. What may light a spark of comfort for one might fall flat for another. Recognizing this, I started to embrace flexibility, curating a toolkit for myself that allowed for trial and error. The most profound lesson I took away is that there is no single solution, and that's perfectly okay. The process reminds me to listen to myself, to give grace on days that feel heavier than others. As I continue navigating this landscape of coping strategies, I hold on to the insight that even small steps towards understanding my emotions can be transformative. In moments of stress, I ponder, what small action might lift my spirit today? This question often leads me to the answers I seek. Transforming stress into resilience. Resilience is often described as the ability to bounce back from difficulties, to adapt and grow stronger in the face of adversity. This concept is crucial when it comes to overcoming stress, which can feel overwhelmingly powerful and consuming at times. I've learned that resilience isn't just about enduring tough moments. It's about transforming those moments into opportunities for growth. It's realizing that the challenges we face can be stepping stones toward greater strength and understanding. Each time I encounter stress, whether from work pressure or personal challenges, I remind myself that this is a chance to cultivate resilience. It's a process that involves facing obstacles head on, learning from them, and ultimately rising with newfound wisdom and courage. In this way, resilience becomes not just a response to stress, but a vital part of my identity. Embracing the journey of transforming stress into resilience requires an open heart and a willingness to learn. I've found that practicing mindfulness and self-compassion during tough times can be immensely beneficial. When stress arises, instead of spiraling into negativity, I pause and reflect. I ask myself what this stress is teaching me and how I might use it to grow. This mindset can transform potential despair into motivation. The next time stress knocks at your door, remember this: within each challenge lies the seed of resilience, waiting for you to nurture it with patience and courage. It's an ongoing journey, but with each step forward, the power to rise turns every stressor into an opportunity for growth. Chapter 12: The Influence of Leadership and Authority. Understanding leader-follower dynamics. The relationship between leaders and their followers is complex and deeply intertwined. Leaders set the tone for the group, influencing not just decisions, but also how the members feel about the tasks at hand. It's about more than just giving orders. It's about connection and understanding. Each interaction has the potential to shape the course of projects and the overall atmosphere of collaboration. I've found that when leaders genuinely listen to their followers, it creates an environment where everyone feels valued and empowered to contribute their ideas. This is when magic happens. Ideas flourish, enthusiasm spreads, and the group begins to move as a cohesive unit. The energy shifts from one of mere obligation to one of shared purpose, which is truly inspiring. Being aware of this dynamic can encourage you to reflect on your own leadership and followership experiences. Embrace the idea that every interaction offers a chance to either build or break connections. Remember, influential leaders are those who understand the art of listening and encouraging their team. Utilizing this knowledge can propel you toward more meaningful interactions in either role. Always aim to be the kind of leader that others want to follow, and likewise, as a follower, support those leaders that resonate with your ideals and vision. Reflecting on influential figures in my life. Throughout my journey, there have been several key leaders whose guidance and wisdom have profoundly shaped my values and actions. Each of these individuals brought a unique perspective that resonated with me deeply, leaving lasting impressions that have influenced how I approach challenges and opportunities in my life. One of the most significant figures was my grandmother, who demonstrated unwavering resilience in the face of adversity. Her ability to maintain a positive outlook, even during difficult times, taught me the power of perseverance. Then there was my high school history teacher, Mr. Thompson, who ignited my passion for learning and critical thinking. His thought-provoking discussions encouraged me to question the world around me and fostered a lifelong love of education. Their examples instilled in me the importance of empathy, courage, and growth, guiding my decisions and shaping my character. Personal stories about these influential figures are woven into the fabric of my life, often emerging during moments of reflection. I remember a particular evening as a child, sitting on the porch with my grandmother as she recounted stories of her youth. One story about her escape from her war-torn country filled me with awe and admiration. It revealed her strength and willingness to fight for a better future. Those shared moments taught me invaluable lessons about family, sacrifice, and hope, reminding me that our struggles do not define us, but rather, our responses to them do. Similarly, in Mr. Thompson's class, I vividly recall my first debate where I had the opportunity to argue for a position that challenged my classmates' views. His encouragement and constructive feedback not only boosted my confidence, but also showed me the importance of respectful discourse and the value of understanding different perspectives. These experiences left an impression on my journey, steering my moral compass and encouraging me to contribute positively to those around me. Recognizing the impact of influential figures in our lives opens up a deeper understanding of ourselves. It encourages us to reflect on who we are and how we want to grow. By acknowledging the lessons learned from these mentors, we can carry their teachings forward, leaving our imprint on the next generation. One practical tip for anyone looking to honor those who have shaped them is to write down the lessons learned and the memories shared with these figures. Reflecting on those moments can strengthen your values and help you articulate your own philosophy of life, paving the way to becoming a guiding light for others. My views on leadership styles. Exploring various leadership styles has been an eye-opening journey for me, revealing how distinct approaches can profoundly affect the dynamics within a group. Traditional authoritative leaders seem to create an environment of order, where clear expectations are set, but this can sometimes stifle creativity and communication. In contrast, participative leaders inspire collaboration, encouraging input from everyone, which often leads to innovative solutions and a stronger sense of community. I've witnessed firsthand how transformational leaders ignite passion in their teams, fostering an environment where individuals feel empowered to take ownership of their work. Yet, I also recognize that some employees thrive under a more transactional approach, where rewards and recognition motivate their performance. Each style has its place, and understanding these nuances allows me to adapt and respond effectively based on the unique needs of a situation or team. Reflecting on the qualities I value in effective leaders, humility stands out as a cornerstone. A leader who recognizes their limitations not only fosters an atmosphere of trust, but also encourages others to contribute their perspectives. I admire leaders who are authentic, those who are willing to show vulnerability and embrace feedback. Their openness creates a safe space for dialogue, where every voice is heard and valued, leading to better decision-making and innovative thinking. Additionally, resilience is another quality I greatly appreciate. Leaders who navigate challenges with grace and determination inspire confidence in their teams, demonstrating that setbacks are merely stepping stones toward growth. These characteristics resonate with me and shape my understanding of what it means to lead effectively. Every interaction with leaders, whether positive or challenging, shapes my perspective on leadership. A practical tip I've adopted is to regularly seek feedback from those around me. By inviting insights from my peers and team members, I gain clarity on my leadership approach and discover opportunities for growth. This simple practice not only strengthens relationships, but also cultivates a culture of openness and continuous improvement. Chapter 13: Self-Reflection and Growth. The Importance of Introspection. Self-reflection plays a vital role in how we grow as individuals. There are moments in life when we find ourselves caught in a whirlwind of responsibilities, expectations, and the relentless pace of the world around us. In these moments, I've learned that taking a step back to look inward is essential. Self-reflection opens the door to understanding our thoughts, emotions, and actions. It's during these reflective moments that I uncover truths about myself that I may not have been aware of. For instance, pondering over past experiences allows me to see patterns in my behavior, whether they're positive or negative. It's an enlightening process that sheds light on who I am at my core, guiding me toward personal development. By understanding my motivations, fears, and aspirations, I can make conscious choices that align with my true self, rather than merely reacting to external pressures. To maintain introspection in my life, I've embraced a few practices that have proven effective. One of the most impactful is journaling. Every morning, I carve out a few minutes to write down my thoughts and feelings. This simple act serves as a release, allowing me to clear my mind and better understand my emotions. I also take time at the end of each week to reflect on my experiences. I ask myself questions like what I learned, what challenged me, and how I reacted in certain situations. This structured reflection not only deepens my self awareness, but also informs my future choices. Additionally, I have found that meditation creates a sanctuary of stillness where I can observe my inner landscape without distractions. It's in these moments of quiet contemplation that I often find clarity. These practices are not mere routines, they are vital threads in the fabric of my daily life that keep me anchored and attuned to my personal journey. Incorporating periods of introspection into daily life is essential for anyone seeking to understand themselves better. One practical tip is to designate a time each day for reflection, whether it's during a morning coffee or right before bed. Use this time to ask yourself open-ended questions, allowing your thoughts to flow freely. This won't just help in understanding yourself, but can also reduce stress and enhance your decision-making skills. Embrace the quiet moments as they hold the potential for profound insight, fostering growth and authenticity in every aspect of life. Lessons learned from personal failures. Failures have been some of my greatest teachers. Each time I stumbled, I found that the lessons hidden within my mistakes were invaluable. It's easy to think of failure as a negative mark on our timeline, but in reality, it serves as a pivotal moment for reflection and growth. When I faced setbacks, whether personal or professional, I learned more about my strengths and weaknesses than I ever could in times of success. These experiences often compelled me to reevaluate my goals and reshape my path. The discomfort that came with these failures forced me to confront aspects of myself that I had ignored. I discovered resilience in my vulnerability and found that wisdom often comes cloaked in disappointment. Reflecting on a specific experience, I remember launching a project that I was certain would succeed. I poured countless hours into research and preparation, igniting every ounce of passion I had. However, when the day came to present my ideas, I stumbled through the delivery. The feedback was harsh, and my heart sank. But in the aftermath, I took time to dissect what went wrong. I realized I had been so focused on perfection that I overlooked the importance of authenticity in my presentation. This pivotal moment led me to embrace imperfection and encouraged me to speak from the heart rather than from a script. It was uncomfortable, yet it opened up a path to authentic connections and deeper engagement. That failure became foundational to my later successes, teaching me that it's not just about achieving goals, but about growing through the journey itself. The truth is, everyone faces their own version of failure, and it's essential to shift our perspective on what failure means to us. Remembering that each misstep is an opportunity to learn can transform how we approach life. Embrace your failures. Reflect on them. Use them as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. When we allow ourselves to be open to the lessons taught through hardship, we cultivate a richness in our lives that no amount of success can replicate. Fostering a mindset that sees failure as a crucial part of the path to achievement can lead to profound growth. When we fall, we rise wiser. Strategies for continuous growth. Identifying actionable strategies for ongoing personal development is a journey that requires introspection and a willingness to evolve. I often reflect on my life, assessing where I've been and where I want to go. During these moments, I focus on small yet impactful changes. These could be as simple as setting aside time each day to read or learn a new skill online. Each step I take, no matter how tiny, builds upon the last, creating a ripple effect of growth. I strive to carve out moments for reflection and self-assessment, ensuring that I'm not just moving through life, but learning actively along the way. I have found that engaging in creative pursuits, whether it's writing in a journal or exploring new hobbies, helps unlock parts of my mind that thrive on curiosity. Sharing my commitment to lifelong learning and self-improvement has become an integral part of who I am. I vividly remember the moment I realized that learning doesn't stop at graduation or during formative years. Rather, it is a lifelong journey. I've embraced this idea wholeheartedly. Whether it's attending workshops, engaging in online courses, or simply having enriching conversations with others, I aim to absorb knowledge in whatever form it takes. I often recount experiences where I stepped outside my comfort zone to try something completely new, such as public speaking or culinary classes. Each experience taught me valuable lessons about resilience and adaptability. The excitement of discovering new ideas fuels my ambition, and I find immense satisfaction in sharing what I learn with others. In doing this, I hope to inspire those around me to see that growth doesn't have to be daunting. It can be an exhilarating adventure. Every day is an opportunity to grow, and I've learned that being open to change creates a powerful momentum in my life. A practical tip that has served me well is to set a personal theme for each year or season. This theme acts as a guiding star, helping me to focus my energies and intentions on specific areas of growth, whether that's enhancing my emotional intelligence, improving skills in a craft, or expanding my network. This practice not only keeps me aligned with my goals, but also makes the process of self-improvement feel more purposeful and rewarding. Chapter 14. Behavioral Change Theories. Understanding the process of change. Exploring psychological frameworks that explain behavioral change reveals a tapestry of theories that can illuminate our journeys. Models like the trans-theoretical model articulate stages such as pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance, providing a roadmap for navigating habits. Understanding these stages not only shed light on my experiences, but also offered a sense of direction when I felt lost. The social learning theory resonated deeply for me, emphasizing that observing others can shape our behavior. Reflecting on moments when I picked up new habits by watching friends or mentors made me realize that change is often communal rather than solitary. The cognitive behavioral theory also contributed significantly, suggesting that unraveling the thought patterns behind my actions could steer me toward healthier choices. Reflecting on how understanding these theories has helped me alter habits, I recall the struggle of trying to quit sugary snacks. At first, I wandered through the pre-contemplative phase, blissfully unaware of how deeply embedded this habit was in my day-to-day life. Then I started to contemplate it, realizing how my energy dipped after those sugary highs. The moment I recognized the detrimental impact through a friend's success, using observation as the social learning theory suggests, I felt inspired. This transition nudged me into preparation, where I crafted strategies like replacing sweets with fruits. It wasn't just about willpower, it was about restructuring my environment to support my goals. As I moved into action, each small victory fueled my motivation, and understanding the cognitive shifts I needed to make allowed me to celebrate those moments. Through this journey, I learned that change is a process, often nonlinear and messy, yet profoundly personal. Engaging with these theories offers insights that demystify how habits form and solidify. My story shows that understanding the psychology behind change isn't just academic, it's a transformative companion on the road to better choices. As you reflect on your own habits, consider mapping them against these frameworks. Identifying which stage you resonate with can provide clarity and direction. Taking the first step, no matter how small, starts the journey toward meaningful change. My attempts at lasting change. Documenting my journeys toward achieving sustainable behavioral changes requires a deep examination of my experiences. Every step taken, whether forward or backward, was a part of the path I traveled. I remember the first time I consciously decided to change my habits, feeling a mix of excitement and trepidation. The goal was simple: to live healthier, happier, and more fulfilled. I collected a journal where I recorded each small victory, the days I felt energized after a morning run, or when I chose a salad over a burger. There was something empowering about these entries. Each word reflected my dedication, helping me stay accountable. However, this journey was not just about triumphs. It was also about the stumbling blocks that came with it. I encountered days when the allure of comfort food was too tempting, or when I pressed snooze far too many times, missing my workout. These moments were challenging, but became critical learning experiences. Sharing the successes and setbacks I faced along the way illuminates the complex nature of change. Success was often accompanied by a feeling of invincibility. I discovered the joy of cooking healthier meals and exploring new recipes. I reveled in the pride that came with running my first 5K. On the other hand, setbacks were just as prominent. I can't count how many times I let impatience win, abandoning my goals when results didn't show up quickly. Each lapse in commitment felt like a personal failure, yet they also served to teach resilience. I learned that cultivating lasting change wasn't just about reaching my end goals, but rather embracing the whole journey, with all its ups and downs. Each setback sparked a reckoning, a moment to reevaluate my strategies and reinforce my reasons for wanting to change. The role of support systems. Social support plays a crucial role in facilitating personal change, often serving as the backbone for transformation. When I embarked on my journey towards self improvement, the encouragement from others around me became a lifeline. The understanding that I was not alone in my struggles fueled my motivation. It was the simple gestures, a friend checking in to see how I was doing, a text message that reminded me I was loved, or a family member cheering me on during tough times. These connections built a safety net that allowed me to take risks and pursue the changes I desperately sought. I realized that sharing my goals with others made them feel more tangible. The mere act of voicing my aspirations created a bond, and every small victory I shared generated a ripple of encouragement that propelled me forward. My friends and family played significant roles in my transformations, each stepping up in ways I never expected. My closest friend became my accountability partner. We would check in weekly to discuss our goals, frustrations, and progress. Her unwavering belief in my potential pushed me to challenge my self-doubt. Then there were my parents, whose unconditional love provided a strong foundation. They listened without judgment, offering wisdom born from their life experiences, while also giving me the space to discover my own path. Every supportive word felt like a seed planted in my heart, growing resilience and hope. Their belief in my capabilities, especially during moments when I faltered, encouraged me to embrace change rather than shy away from it. It was their faith that sparked my journey of transformation. With the support of my network, I learned that personal growth is rarely a solo endeavor. The collective strength found in friendships and familial bonds creates a fertile environment for change. The key takeaway from my experience is the importance of nurturing these relationships. Offering support is just as vital as receiving it. When you share your challenges with others, you not only invite them into your journey, but also foster a community of mutual encouragement. Remember, the next time you face a difficult decision or a monumental change, reach out to your support system. Doing so can make all the difference in transforming your aspirations into reality. Chapter 15: The Future of Behavioral Science: Emerging Trends in Behavioral Research. Innovative trends are reshaping the landscape of behavioral science, revealing new ways to understand how we think, feel, and act. One significant trend is the integration of technology into research methodologies. The rise of wearable devices and mobile applications has changed how data is collected, allowing researchers to gather real-time insights into behavior. This shift not only enhances the accuracy of data, but also provides a richer context for interpreting human actions. As I navigate through this evolving field, the application of artificial intelligence in analyzing behavioral patterns particularly captivates me. AI can sift through massive data sets to identify trends that might escape even the most seasoned researchers. This capability invites a fusion of disciplines, combining insights from psychology, neuroscience, and computer science to create a more comprehensive understanding of behavior. Reflecting on these developments, I find myself reevaluating my understanding of behavior. With the emergence of machine learning algorithms capable of predicting behavioral outcomes, I am compelled to consider the implications of these predictions on individual agency and accountability. It raises profound questions about whether behaviors can truly be understood or if they are merely predictions based on historical data. This exploration challenges my views, urging me to think about the intersection of technology and human experience. I realize that while these advancements hold enormous potential, they also necessitate a level of caution. The more accurately we can predict behavior, the more we must consider the ethical implications of our knowledge. Ultimately, I have come to appreciate that my journey in behavioral research is not just about understanding actions, but also about grappling with the moral dimensions that accompany our newfound insights. As I continue on this path, maintaining an open mind and an ethical perspective will be crucial. Not only does it deepen my understanding of human behavior, but it also ensures that the advancements in research honor the complexity of the human experience. Embracing these changes while being mindful of their societal impacts allows for a more holistic approach to behavioral science. I encourage others in this field and beyond to engage with these emerging trends critically, ensuring that the narrative of human behavior remains nuanced and reflective of our shared humanity. My hopes for behavioral interventions. I envision a future where behavioral interventions become integrated into the fabric of our society, a guiding light for both individuals and communities. These interventions would be accessible, compassionate, and tailored to meet the unique needs of diverse populations. Imagine programs that support emotional intelligence and resilience, not just in schools, but in workplaces, community centers, and online spaces. The idea is to foster environments where empathy is cultivated and open communication is encouraged. As I think about it, I see workshops that engage children and adults alike, inviting them to explore their emotions positively and constructively. Support groups would flourish, offering a safe haven for people to share experiences and learn from one another. Through these interventions, we can create networks of support that uplift everyone's experience, helping us all to thrive together in a more connected world. Understanding why these interventions are essential requires a reflection on our shared human experience. Each of us encounters challenges that shape our behavior, often leading to isolation or misunderstanding. Effective behavioral interventions can bridge gaps, promote understanding, and nurture personal growth alongside communal harmony. By addressing issues such as anxiety, depression, or interpersonal conflict through thoughtful engagement and evidence-based strategies, we stand to improve the mental health of individuals while also enhancing the social fabric of our communities. When people feel supported and understood, they are more likely to contribute positively to society. This ripple effect can lead to safer neighborhoods, collaborative teams in workplaces, and most importantly, happier individuals who no longer feel burdened by their struggles alone. It's this possibility of transformation that fuels my passion for advocating these interventions. Practical steps toward implementing these ideas could include simple daily practices like mindfulness and open dialogue. Encouraging communities to hold regular discussions about mental health can dismantle stigma and foster acceptance. It's crucial to remember that change starts small. Every conversation can spark another, leading to broader acceptance. Additionally, local leaders and organizations can champion programs that emphasize conflict resolution and emotional well-being. As we move forward, let us be mindful of the power of connection and support. By lifting each other up through behavioral interventions, we can create not only a more resilient individual, but a thriving community. Personal reflection on future behavior. Contemplating how my behavior may evolve with changing times often feels like peering into a foggy mirror. I can sense the outlines of who I might become, yet the details remain indistinct. Life is not static. It twists and turns like a river, and I am just one of its many tributaries. As I navigate through the currents of society, I find myself realizing that each shift, a technological breakthrough, a cultural awakening, or even a personal challenge, has the power to reshape me. Embracing evolution means accepting that my viewpoints may be challenged, my choices reevaluated, and my reactions modified. This growth may come from simple conversations or profound life events, and each experience adds another layer to my understanding of the world and myself. Expressing aspirations for the person I wish to become fills me with both hope and determination. I envision a version of myself that is not only more empathetic, but also more engaged with the world around me. I want to be someone who actively listens, connects deeply, and strengthens the bonds with those I encounter. It is important to me to cultivate resilience, to embrace vulnerability as a strength rather than a weakness, and to be open to learning from every interaction. This journey towards my ideal self is fueled by the belief that we all hold within us the capacity for profound change. I aspire to inspire others, creating a ripple effect of positivity and growth. Visualizing my future self pushes me to act with purpose today, making conscious decisions that align with the values I hold dear. In this continuous journey of self-discovery, reflection becomes a crucial tool. Regularly assessing my thoughts, beliefs, and actions allows me to stay grounded in my aspirations while adapting to the world's evolving landscape. Keeping a journal, engaging in mindfulness, or simply taking quiet moments to reflect can help me stay aligned with who I want to be. It is in these moments of contemplation where I find clarity and fuel for my growth. As we reach the end of Behavioral Codes, Why We Act the Way We Do, I hope this journey has given you fresh insights into the inner workings of your behavior and the forces that shape it. Whether it's the influence of emotions, habits, or social pressures, understanding these patterns brings us closer to personal growth and meaningful change. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight, but self-awareness is the first step toward creating the life you truly desire. Keep exploring, questioning, and refining your behaviors. With the knowledge you've gained here, you have the tools to make mindful, conscious decisions that align with your values and aspirations. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery. Here's to continuously growing, learning, and unlocking the potential within ourselves.